पवित्रता की परख है। वृत्ति, दृष्टि और कृति तीनों में चेक करो। संपूर्ण पवित्रता की वृत्ति अर्थात हर आत्मा के प्रति शुभ भावना स्मृति से बोलना चलना और कृति अर्थात कर्म में सुख लेना, सुख देना। ये चेक करो, मेरी वृत्ति, दृष्टि, कृति इसी प्रमाण है। साथी होना, विल पावर भी थी और सर्व पावर्स की विल भी की। वो पावर्स अपना काम कर रही है। मच्छी पालना हो रही है ना,
बिल्ली भी पालना कितना साथ दे रही है।
यहाँ पाँव रखो।
आप पकड़े रहेंगे।
तो आप सबको भी दादियों को देख के खुशी होती है,
बहुत है, अच्छा है।
खुशी होती है ना।
आज एक हाथ की ताली ठीक बजा रहे हैं, एक बार बताएं।
जैसे ये देख करके खुशी होती है, वैसे इन्हों जैसे बन के कितनी खुशी होगी। तो सभी दादियों से प्यार है, बाप दादा से प्यार है, तो प्यार का रिटर्न है विशेषताओं को समान बनाना।
हमारे लिए एक आईना है ना, समर्पण हम सब हुए हैं। दादी हमारे आगे दर्पण है, कराने वाला बाबा है, ये नाम वाला बाबा का किया। तो इस समर्पण लाइफ मैं मेरा से दूर, मन वाणी कर्म नंबर 1 श्रेष्ठ। आत्मा हम भी है, आत्मा ये भी है, आत्मा सब है।
ऐसे give peace, take peace, give love, take love, give happy, take happy.
यज्ञ के साथ रही रब की बनके, जग को संभाला था माँ की तरह से। बच्चे सारे योगी पवित्र जीवन कितना सुखद सलोना, योगी पवित्र जीवन कितना सुखद सलोना, सींचा है ज्ञान अमृत से अंतर का कोना कोना। योगी पवित्र जीवन कितना सुखद सलोना, सींचा है ज्ञान अमृत से।
Om Shanti. What a lovely thing to do, to be with both of you today. For us this afternoon and some places at other times of the day. So Mohini Didi, Sister Jayanti, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'd like you both to share something first, but I had the thought, could I ask you, as part of your sharing now, Mohini Didi first, and then Sister Jayanti, where are you? What are you doing? What are you thinking? What's going on for you? For us to feel this closeness to you both. So Mohini Didi first.
एक मिनट, उसको बहुत खांसी है, उसको मास्क दो, उधर जो बैठी है बहुत दोनों.
Is that okay? Was that clear?
Om Shanti. Thank you, Manda Bahan. Hello to global family. It's really, when I think we will be meeting, I feel so happy, and that we could be together sharing what is our present efforts. Actually, this month of August is, I am in Peace Village, and Peace Village in the USA, in New York. So I came here because we had Call of Time, which is special retreat of silence for a few days. Just finished, and then I'm spending 1 week here, and until 16th of August, then I return to New York. I will be traveling to India on 1st September and spend about 3 months in India. So that's what at present I'm doing. But, this month is the month where, of course, we have beautiful experiences of being with Adi Prakashmani. That is one thing, but also Raksha Bandhan. So it's a month of purity. And we had been getting awake signals on purity, total purity, perfect purity, complete purity. And one interesting thing is that it had always been coming as clean and pure. So I had been kind of reflecting on that what it means. Pure thoughts we know, viceless. But what it means to have unpolluted, there is no pollution, unadulterated actually, unadulterated thoughts. So I realized that whenever we think about water, food, and we say it's clean, right, unadulterated, but then also it has not only hygiene point of view, but it's also nutrition. Because when anything which is clean, it has nutrition capacity, whether it's food, whether it is water, milk, or anything. So then what Baba is saying, that when your thought is unadulterated, and of course definition could be is free from desires, is selfless, many qualities which I will explain now. But then it has Siddhi. Siddhi means, of course, in English we say accomplishment. But Siddhi actually is considered to be like your thinking, your soul has reached to a very high elevated stage, so that whatever you think, whatever you say must happen. Like Dadi Prakash Mani's, I think most of you remember that the last, when double foreigners, we used to be there. She will come in the morning and say, well, Dadi had this thought. And then because we knew that whatever Dadi thought, it must happen. She wanted a program, 100,000. It just happened in 3 weeks in Ahmedabad. She wanted a place where 5,000 Brahmins can meet. That was the number at that time. It happened, peaceful age emerged. Any thought she had got accomplished. So what about us, no? Whether it is ideas, whether it is plans, whether it's simple thoughts, but do they get accomplished? So then what is there, like pollution in the air and clean air? So what is there in our thoughts, which what we can bring, that it can become a thought which brings siddhi? That means it definitely happens and get accomplished. So I thought that if we can have not only purity in the thought, but feelings of good wishes, benevolent, mercy, kindness, we can keep adding these qualities which has power, nutrition, that means powerful capacity. And as much we are able to accumulate all that in our thoughts and keep removing what is like pollution, It is like pollution in the sense of very subtle traces of greed, very subtle traces of attachment. So those thoughts will not get accomplished. Sometimes we want to do something and there is really so much, desire to do that. And there is some attachment there. So that thought, even if that get accomplished, but there will be obstacles. So how do we make our every thought in this month of August? And then of course, if we pay attention and do now, then it's going to keep going on in the sense of that becomes your. So that's one thought. And of course, Dadi Prakashpuri was the example. So it becomes very, very clear. So of course, that's had been my reflections and to how make every thought a siddhi. Siddhi is like your own deeper accomplishment of every thought. So this had been my last reflection, which I wanted to share with everyone. And also never allow disappointment, frustration, discouragement, all that to get into your thoughts. Once that happens, it's like you have a bug in the fruit or on the flowers. Because it does happen on this spiritual journey. Some or other they're not able to figure out, not able to take whatever is good for you, and you leave whatever you cannot connect, So be very clear, focus, and don't allow, especially take blessing for this month, not to allow any such thing to touch your heart. So it's a month of August. I liked yesterday when a Vyakti signal was your original image is the image of blessings. And I really love that each one of us, if we remember that, then as Baba said, your attitude, your thoughts, your words, drishti, actions will be full of blessings. And that is what is required now. And that's the cooperation we can give to each other. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much. Jayanti Didi,
Om Shanti.
Shanti, where are you? What are you doing? Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you thinking? I had 24 hours in Rome and Assisi, and I came back yesterday. And it was a very special gathering in which it was the Elijah Foundation that has opened a new place right next to the St. Francis Basilica. And it's the Global House for Friendship and Hope. The Elijah Foundation is an interfaith organization, and we've had long-term connection with them, but also with all the connections through the interfaith organizations now. It was quite an amazing platform with the Cardinal of Jerusalem and also the former Grand Mufti of Bosnia. And so he's been to Oxford a few times, Mustafa. And of course, the Elijah founder has been to London several times, Madhuban once, and Oxford a few times. So it was like an intimate family gathering. But the Cardinal also fitted in within that gathering in a very sweet way. So it seems as if the connections within the interfaith movement now are really coming to the top level of leadership. And Maureen, of course, gets invited to many different things at the Vatican itself. So that's what's going on in terms of service. And of course, coming into London, then there's a big family. And I had a lovely gathering with about 70 young people. And I was surprised. I hadn't expected to see such a big gathering. Admittedly, there were a few from here and there, but mostly it was London gathering, and all of them bright, young, bright eyes, ready for action. And I said to them, well, service isn't just workshops and giving lectures, but service means the yajna and all the things that happen within the yajna, whether it's cooking, cleaning, etc., etc. When you go to Madhuban, you don't just get classes, you get good food, you get accommodation, you get transport, you get all of this. So the whole yajna structure is many different aspects of service. And so I said, who's ready to be an all-rounder in service? And they all raised their hands. And I said, shall I sign you up on that now? And so hopefully there'll be many willing hands coming forth for Oxford and for London. Let's see the drama. But this was that this afternoon. And then immediately after that, there was a gathering of the Sindhi family. And Daddy used to serve these souls, knowing that these are the progeny of the dadis and reading the word translate on the screen. These are the progeny of the dadis, the founders, the ancestors. And so some, of course, very much connected with Dadi, and others really much younger. So, but it was again a very beautiful gathering. So it's been a flow of service continually. But within all of that, of course, deep in my heart is that in this month of August, we have the blessings of purity, not just from Raksha Bandhan as the festival comes up, but also we have these blessings from Dadiji. Dadiji, the embodiment of purity. There's this word, Patit Pavan, God the purifier. And in that, they don't just use the word Pavitra, but they use the word Pavan, Patit Pavan, the one who purifies. And so purity, yes, there's cleanliness and everything, but Pavan, really, a state which is above, a state which has a sparkle of purity. And just think about Dadiji's face, and I think many, many of Baba's children abroad took a lot of sustenance and inspiration from Dadiji. And so just think about Dadiji, and you see that smile, you see the bright light in her eyes shining, and you see the warmth of her love and affection, and Dadi comes into your mind, and you think of purity, for the highest level of purity, the absolute stage in which there's no blemish, but also the sparkle of purity. And so that's been very much what I've been thinking about the last few days, since August started, actually. So those are my current reflections, that we have to become like Baba, like Dadi. Dadi became the human form through whom we could see Baba's qualities. Of course, Mama also had those qualities, but Mama flew away in 1965 before service abroad had even started.
And so I'm sure that with Mama's power of purity, the Jagadamba, the World Mother, I'm sure she's giving us her blessings of purity, but especially Dadiji. I think many, many double foreigners would say that they had very special memories of Dadiji. And so keeping all those alive in my mind.
Thank you very much. Thank you both. It's quite amazing, isn't it, that August is the month of Dadi. August is the month of Raksha Bandhan, and so August becomes a month of purity. So it's really quite amazing in drama that August becomes that. I've been thinking a lot about purity as well over these last few days, particularly because of the points that we've been getting. I'm wondering if both of you could, how could, it seems to be such a huge quality, such an incredible, beautiful, powerful quality. And I'm wondering if both of you could give us a short definition of what purity actually is. What is that state of being? What is that consciousness? What is that, what is that awareness? Yes.
I think it is the moments, or it could be longer time, when you just really in total soul conscious state, where there's no kind of pull, either pull of body or relationships or material things, but the soul as point of light. And really there is nothing else. So that I feel is the pure awareness and purity consciousness. And that's what eternally and originally the soul is, that I am a pure being. And as I said, unadulterated, free from desires, so that total purity is just soul consciousness.
Nice. Yes, gentlemen.
I was thinking there's that state of cleanliness in which there's no spot, no stain, no blemish whatsoever. Just the original qualities, like Didi said, the original qualities of the soul really shining brightly. And so purity becomes the background in which all the other qualities can shine. And so without the purity, the other qualities are damaged in a sense. They're not completely clean either. There's love, but if there isn't that purity, then the love isn't completely stainless, free from blemish. And so purity is the background, the total cleanliness. And then within that, each of these other qualities can shine. The love, the truth, the joy, the power from Baba, peace. So without that background, these qualities are not completely clean. There's some influence of negativity in some slight or subtle form.
I think both of you, what you're saying is very interesting in the sense that it's important to simplify this understanding, because we see such beautiful qualities in all of you and the daddies, and we can't say, well, I want to be like this or like that or like the other. As you say, there has to be something behind. There has to be a simple practice and a simple awareness that allow all of these things to manifest. And so what is the role of Baba's remembrance in allowing me to become pure? Of course, Baba says remembrance incinerates your sins, remembrance purifies you. Can you actually tell us, Mohini Didi, that when you remember Baba, how do you have a sense of you becoming pure?
See, when we begin our spiritual journey, my remembrance of Baba is based on my love and faith. But then as much we go further than that, then remembrance is very connected with purity. because as much I am becoming free from not only vices, but traces of vices, there is very natural feeling of companionship. Sometimes I just feel that, Baba is present, Baba is with me. That means as much I am becoming pure, that much remembrance is becoming natural. And as much I am remembering, whatever impurities are there, they're dissolving. So there is deep connection between being pure and remembrance and becoming more and more pure. So that's what I would see, that we all feel like now, at least for me, it's very natural to feel that companionship, being with Baba, Baba's protection. Not only that, but awareness of I am instrument of Baba. This is Baba's yagya. So I think that as much intellect becomes Sato Pradhan and pure, intellect is more and more pulled by Baba. It's like a magnet. You could feel that pull. And as much I remember, Baba is purifier, soul is becoming pure.
So would you say that any specific qualities you feel are growing inside of you as a result of your sense of purity of your own self?
Mm. And one is self-respect, but other is love. There is so much natural feelings of love for everything, for everyone. And that keeps you very full, because it's just like, love everything, love everyone, love. So one of that quality definitely is, but many qualities like patience and detached observer, and say whatever is happening in drama without getting emotionally affected, whether it's sorrow or happiness, just observe drama. So definitely one feels from purity, that stage, lot of beautiful experiences begin in the life, and they are very natural too.
Do you feel that you're becoming like a god? I'm deliberately using the word God here instead of Baba. I'm deliberately saying, do you feel you're becoming like God?
Well, since childhood I felt I am like my father, but there were not all that qualities and purity. Being child of God, whom else I will be like? I always say that you can't be monkey being child of elephant, right? Elephant child has to be elephant. I am God's child, so I have that godliness, that divinity within my own self. Since I young, I always felt something deep within, where I am pulled for my roots of my existence, and that is God. So I think that that's what I sometimes surprise when people, do things, say things which I said, but even just to remember I am God's child should bring us more godly, more divine, more pure. Whose child am I? That not only the fortune of that, but also just what I have inherited from God. So it's a big thing to say like God. I do say that I am child of God, but definitely we are also becoming God's goddesses with small g, not
Yeah.
not capital G.
Yeah.
Capital G is one, but small one we all are. We
Yeah.
all are becoming deities. That's gods and goddesses now.
Yeah.
So
Interesting you
yeah,
should say. Interesting you should say that, because Baba does say you're becoming Bap Saman. So at the end of the day, that is what it is, right?
yeah. If you don't become that, then what are we doing, right? I
Great,
think
thank you.
that's why Baba has given us spiritual birth to
Yeah.
son shows father, father has shown son.
Yes, thank you very much. Gentlemen, what's your experience of becoming like Baba, especially in relation to purity and its manifestations?
The feeling I get is the magnet pulling the soul. And so it's not an effort to remember Baba, but it's a very natural way of being with Baba. And so as the alloy is removed, so the soul's able to come, the rust is removed, so the soul's able to come closer and closer to Baba in that state of being purified, but also purification. The process is ongoing, but as it goes on, the closeness to Baba continues to increase. And so Baba drawing the soul rather than you thinking, oh, I have to remember Baba now, but no, Baba pulling the soul. So that connection of love and the magnet pulling you happens, become more and more clean and pure. So yes, close to the Father. And it's a thought that often stays with me. Am I reflecting Baba's qualities? In this particular situation, what would Baba do? And so I know that Baba tells us everything he does in the Murli. And so sometimes it's, what would Baba have done? And sometimes it's, what would Dadi do? And so both thoughts come to me and then determine how I'm going to respond at that moment. And so, yes, there's a journey coming closer and closer.
I think I could say for both of you actually that people experience that your presence itself brings a different vibration and a different energy. And so maybe do you feel that your role also allows you to perhaps vibrate as at a higher level, and also that Baba also reveals himself through you more than you feel you might have done before?
Well, I certainly see a big difference in my own stage a few years ago and what it is today. And some people have confirmed that. And I suppose not everyone is going to, but there have been people who feel the same. And I know that in India, they very much see the role and the position. So they're not seeing me. I very often feel that it's the role that they're seeing. But abroad, I don't think that's true. I think it's your presence, your vibrations that people pick up. And so there's no role consciousness to the same extent as there is in Bharat. So being is also very refreshing.
I mean, it's nice to hear you say that as well, and for you to recognize it and be conscious of it, that it's the role that they're acknowledging, but you really have the feeling here that there is a different vibration and an energy. Thank you. So I want to...
One is role, but other is sense of responsibility towards Yagya,
Yes.
that whether it is through my thoughts and the sustenance, and so it's like deep feeling of responsibility, which I think comes with the role, definitely. But
Yes.
it's not role consciousness, but you feel responsible, and like whatever few moments I have, let me remember Baba for Yagya. Let me create these thoughts for Yagya. You kind of keep creating that atmosphere and then give spiritual sustenance to the whole family, global family, or in India especially, we do a lot of that. So at least I am not role conscious, but I am reminded all the time, oh, you have to sign this because you are, even today, so whole day only messages here, there. So one plays whatever role one has to play, but deeply within one feels not as a burden, but very deep sense of responsibilities, my family, my yagya. So I have to do whatever I can to support and sustain the yagya.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think just to say to what Jayantiman is saying, that I think that when they are respecting your role, it's also what it takes to play that role, which is what Mohini Didi is talking about, right? So there is that element too, that you play that role and they honor the role that you play with responsibility, with unlimited heart and all of that as well. Did you want to say something, Yurina?
I wanted to say that I also feel very much that what we're doing is sharing the presence of the dadis. I feel that so many new children have come to Baba since not just the last 6 years since Dadi left, but generally the Yagya. And so to share the stories of the Yagya, to share the experiences with Dadi, the things we learned from their practical example, I feel that that number of people who had that is getting less and less. Like Didi Mohini is one of the few now who remain with long-term experience of Sakar Baba and Mama. And so never mind role in that sense of title or whatever, but the actual task that Baba's carrying out is to just remind us of who the ancestors are and what the Yagya is about, not just the present Yagya, but what is the foundation of the Yagya? How is that foundation created? You think of some of the dadis and you really think about their dedication, their surrender and their sacrifice. It's amazing. And others aware that, that's the foundation. So where are we at now? And so to be able to follow in those footsteps.
Also, when people say, oh, when I'm here, I feel Baba, I feel Dadi, I feel Dadi. People come and say, and I said, yes, you will feel it, because I always say to them that my personality has a piece of every Dadi. First of Brahma Baba, Mama, then Didi Man. So I am the structure from all the metals, like the 5 metals. But I have every Dadi within me, because the love they gave, the teachings they gave, the closeness I had, sense of so yeah, you will feel it, because I have that to offer, So I accept it, and I do feel also.
That's really beautiful. I really like that. And it is true from both of you. We really do feel this connectedness to the ancestors and to Baba and the Yagya and the early days. And I have to say, I've been missing the daddies more. I especially been missing Daddy Janki over the last some little while. I don't know why, but she comes to my mind a lot more than she has done in the last 6 years. But I'm going to ask you this question, which I was keeping till later. And I don't mind, you can take as long as you want to answer this. And I want to hear from both of you. So we praised Dadi Kumarka's purity, and we absolutely saw it. And we see purity as Dadi Kumarka's specialty. But Dadi Gulzar also had the specialty of purity. She also had an incredible purity, and there was a way in which she reflected that. And Dadi Janki the same. They all had purity. So can you tell us what was the difference in the purity of the 3 of them? I mean, Dadi Kumarka's is very obvious. You can see in every smile, every movement, every action that she takes, you can feel her purity. But what about Dadi Gulzar and Dadi Janki? How do you feel they manifested their purity?
I think that in Dadi Prakashmani, manifestation was of love. And in Dadi Gulzar, it was silence. Very, very deep silence. As I remember one time there was a situation in Delhi, and Dadi Janki myself went to her. Dadi, are you concerned? Are you little worried? Because Baba had to come that evening. And she said, if my father doesn't worry, why will I do? And I really remember that how deeply she remained light, carefree, fearless. So those were very obvious qualities. And of course, Dadi Janki was, master ocean of knowledge, and, very, very kind, very compassionate. So some of each one's qualities were mean, they had all the qualities, but some were more in interactions, which we were able to experience. And as I said, love, silence, and Master Ocean.
Thank you. Gentlemen, can you expand a little bit on that? I'm sure you'll agree with that as well, but can you expand a little bit on those?
Those are the three qualities I myself would have mentioned also, because I saw them so clearly visible in each of them. And I'd say that Dadi Gulzar's deep, deep silence was such that she would erase the waste thoughts that somebody else was having. So not just she was keeping her mind completely quiet and peaceful. Baba called it Nirsankalp Devta, the one without thoughts, just silence, pure silence. But she had the capacity to be able to allow that to extend to others. And so in her presence, everybody's mind became still and calm. And so she had that dramatic effect on others. And Dadi Janki, definitely the fountain of wisdom. There were some people who, when she was going from here to there, they would carry their notepad so that they could write down everything she was saying, because everything she said had deep significance and meaning. The wisdom that she carried was just being shared continually through her lips, through her actions, through her eyes. I was just remembering the eyes of the Dadis and how their eyes reflected the purity, but also those qualities. And yes, of course, Dadi Janki had a huge amount of love, a big, big heart. But the dominant quality of that purity was manifest as the wisdom. And of course, with Dadi Gulzar again, we saw that love, big heart, but yet it was still that absolute ability to go deep into silence. So, yes, purity manifests in different ways.
Yes. I'm also feeling that the connection between purity and truth. How would you define this connection between purity and truth? Now I'm talking about truth, the way in which I live my life. I sometimes find myself being very absolute and total. And so I force myself to do something, and then I have that expectation of other people. And I kind of think, okay, it's my love for truth, but it becomes distorted in that way. So how are truth and purity connected with one another? Either one of you can start and both of you can share. Mohini Didi, you want to start first? So
I think that, there is the praise for God, no? Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. And so one of the first quality is the truth, right? Because Satyam, Sundaram, that's the beauty. So I think that I think that purity is truth, no? That means it's real, it's authentic, that is what it is. So I don't separate purity and truth. Well, of course, when it comes to, people will say, there is a saying that, did you see the cow passing from there? One is factual kind of truth. People
right.
want say things as they are. So they have definition of truth up to that extent. But, as a soul, my whole existence is about truth and purity, because purity is life. And so I just see them both so deeply connected, and they both are together.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Gentlemen?
There were two words that Dadi would use together very often, more than that sometimes, but the two words, Sachai, Safai. And so when the heart is clean, then there can be honesty. And so the purity of the heart, purity of intentions, means that you're following the path of truth. And yes, I'm remembering Didi Moini and the story of the cow. If you know that there's a butcher chasing the cow and he's asking you, where did the cow go? And you don't want to reply, or you tell him that it's gone the other way when it's gone that way. So what is on the one side, the facts and of life and a practical level, so the truth in that, but also the bigger truth, the absolute truth in which God is the truth. And so, I've said that the cow went that way when in fact it went that way. So somebody would say that's a lie. But in the bigger picture of truth and non-violence, of course, then you know that I'm following the path of truth in that way. So I'm thinking that when there's total cleanliness inside, there's nothing I want for myself. There's no more pulls of anything at all on an external or an internal level. Then that state of Sachai, truth, means that, yes, I'm very clean. And so both things definitely go together. You can't have the one without the other.
Mohini Didi, you mentioned about not to allow yourself to become disheartened or lose hope in yourself. And my sense is that that's one of the signs of the impurity, if you like, or experiencing sorrow or suffering must be an obvious sign of impurity. So what is, well, you know where I'm going with that. So
the vices got into the thoughts, words, actions, relationship, right? Because in body consciousness, our past relationships create a lot of karmic accounts, right? I think somewhere lack of understanding of knowledge and following of Srimad. Somewhere some souls always have more louder voice of their own mind, dictates of their own mind than Baba's Srimad, That means, like Baba says, power of gathering. Now, you see them always doing, if I have to do yoga, I have to be alone. If I have to eat, I have to be. That means they isolate somewhere, not following Srimad at every step. More we follow Srimad, there won't be that frustration, there won't be that discontent. And I think that when then it grows, then more far you become from the family, from Baba. So it's definitely some karmic accounts. But yeah, we have to keep serving them so that, it's happening and we are noticing certain pattern in Brahmin life after many years in a very completely different way. And I think somewhere they were missing the steps of following Srimad. And that is why I tell everyone, do what Baba says. That's our safety. Because this is a new kind of journey. Baba is our guide and our seniors are our guide. Why we think of Brahma Baba? Because we wanted to see how he managed, how he did it, So I think that, wherever anyone is, definitely time to change. And if there is this nature of discontent always, or unhappy, not getting along with people, or not appreciation, so transformation can happen. And I have a lot of love for such souls, but also I want them to recognize that if there is a bug, you cannot grow, right? And these are the bugs. We have to remove them. Right?
So this is interesting, though, that I recognize Baba. I say I love Baba. I want to be Baba's child. Why don't I follow Srinath?
Yeah, because, it's just like your mind is speaking, right? Baba is speaking. And, somebody, I ask her, why don't you listen to this class or this? No, I only could listen what I could manage. When they start talking about little higher, I can manage. So I don't listen. But for us, for me, I would listen I know it's very high, but I know this is what I have to do, even naturally, gradually, slowly, but I have to do it. So I think they resist somewhere accepting what they have to, they should receive.
Gentlemen, you want to add to that? Why don't I follow Srimad?
I want to go to the question you had earlier about the pain and sorrow that's
great, yeah.
because I'm seeing that this word enlightenment, gyan, light, and the enlightenment, prakashta, that comes through knowledge. If truly I understand and I believe gyan, then there's no space for sorrow to come in at all, because everything is clear. We know what it is as it is. We know that if something's causing me pain, there's something within myself that's reacting to whatever is a trigger outside. And if I had cleared out whatever was inside, then they could say what they wanted and it wouldn't cause me any pain. So I have a responsibility. Am I going to accept that pain, or am I going to allow the light of Gyan to shine? Today Baba was using this idea of Gyan as light. And so the light has removed all the darkness. And so when I'm in a state of pain or depression, there is a darkness that's there within. And so what I have to do is not say they have to stop saying this, that, or the other, or they have to change their way of being and talking, etc. But can I have that light growing within me so that then that enlightenment is such that I don't feel the pain, I don't feel the sorrow. And of course, disheartenment is where I've lost my self-respect because I haven't followed Srimad in something or another. And so on an external level, I'm saying that, it doesn't matter, it's okay. But on an inner level, the reality is that if I haven't followed Srimad, my own state of self-esteem goes down. I know what I'm doing or not doing. And so because my own self-esteem has gone down, and then I feel that the path is difficult and I get disheartened. So I think it's lack of understanding of the value of Srimad, that on the one side I say, yes, I understand. But do I truly believe in what the value of Srimad is? And am I experiencing the benefit of following Srimad in whatever it is I do? And if I don't feel the benefit, then I'm going to go on a different track.
Great, thank you. I like that. So here's a general question, but I'm going to ask you both to do something in a minute that you haven't done before. How can I move from understanding to churning to being what I understand to be true? How can I arrive? What is it that's going to allow me to find myself in a place of alignment and in a place of, or in unison with what I believe to be true? Let's just take purity. We all want to experience purity. I know what it is. I understand what it is. Then what is it that is going to take from me? Mohini Didi wants to share something. Would you like to share something as well on what's been said?
I think that, like breathing in the body, right? The most important. And then sometimes you find you are out of breath, you are fast breathing, you start feeling from your palpitation that what is going through, right? So what we do, like, anywhere, any doctor you go, do you go for a walk? Do you exercise? These two things, do you every day, every time do you go enough? That means physical activity is required so that not only every organ of the body, but they say that every bone, every joint should move. If it doesn't move, the arthritis grow, pains start happening. So that is why they have postures, they have exercise, they have so many different ways. But then some or other, if we just keep sitting and not active, so understanding in action, And if I understand it, then I have to do it, effort. And when I do, then I know how much I understand. I remember one time when we were young Brahmins, we were asked to give 7 days course. And it's true, because when you give course, you are stuck, like you are giving course on cycle, and you're not able to explain properly. Somewhere deeply, lack of clarity in my understanding. That's why I'm not able to answer questions properly. So I think understand, implement it in action. And then you know how much is your understanding. Because generally, we listen to Murli. Oh, I heard this yesterday. Baba had been mentioned this every time. This is not something new. But actually, every Murli, every time you listen, there is a different kind of, somewhere deeply you are moved towards finding that it is something more real, more practical. So knowledge, and know what is technology, knowledge into math, they use it, technique. So techniques. So same is efforts. When efforts are there, like I remember, let's say one example, which I always give of Dadi Janki, that there are two souls, like one is very comfortable, keep talking to other soul, but other one. So Dadi says one time, if somebody closes the door, you open the window and still say hello. If they close the window, you open the ventilator and say hello from there. So it's like you're making effort, no? So effort in life is really understanding whether it is, so are my relationship lovely, my relationship friendly, even whatever other one is, but I am responsible for my own activity and conduct. So I think understanding into action, and then it becomes your natural awareness.
Mhm. Thank you. Jayanti?
No, perfect. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I want to bring in this aspect that Baba speaks about us. Baba calls us sometimes the purifiers as well. So can you say something about this consciousness and this awareness that gives me the sense of me qualifying to purify? But we also have the role of transforming the world, purifying the elements. So what has to happen for me and with the elements in order for me to experience this sense of responsibility, commitment, and also experience of purifying the elements?
Yeah, I think it's very simple. Because when you have pure thought, first talk about elements in your own body.
Right.
You have breathing, you have heat and everything. So when you're having pure thought, or you're remembering Baba, it's going in your breath, right? And that breathing is going into your all parts of the body. So in a way, all the elements are being purified. But then there is other ways. When you walk or you see the trees and flowers, generally we say, oh, how beautiful they are. But as we know that the trees, how they breathe oxygen outside, or, it's like every element is very connected with our thinking. So when you are walking in the nature, but not only that, the food, why Baba says, eat in my remembrance? Because food is the main source from the elements, right? It's the grains and beans, and without sunshine, without air, without, earth, out of 5 elements, what we get is food. Or of course, water is one. But when you get the food, then first thing, like for me in life, is gratitude. Every night I just, at every step I say, Baba, how you take care of me, how much you really care for me. Lot of gratitude whole day in my life for God. Every night I really sleep. And then I realized that if you have gratitude, if you are grateful, and you feel how much am I receiving, then God gives you more because you are using what you have. But if I have everything, but still I'm not happy, there's no contentment, then Baba says, but you're not using what you have, why you will get more, right? So even contentment can bring more and more. So I think that if you really go deep into, it's not I have to purify element. I have to be pure, and it will purify body, it will purify when I eat food, in silence, in Baba's remembrance. And then when Baba says, whatever happens, you will still get dal roti. But there are some people who are not even happy. They get so many things to eat, right? They never thank God or even the elements, you know. So I think that, you must have heard talking to, uh, okay, if you are going, it's very hot. And you start talking to the sun, please, want little shade. And you see the wonders which happen. They listen to, elements even listen to us.
Yeah.
So I think that, yes, that purity and purifying, they go together.
Yeah, great.
If you are pure, you are a pure fire. Pure fire means you are like fire. Pure fire, and in your fire, everything gets purified, clean. That's
Thank
what
you.
my practical, every day, every moment's life is about, of
No.
gratitude.
Thank you, lovely. Gentlemen, you are working with environment and all of that. And so what is the approach you are taking that would awaken all of us really to be able to recognize our profound relationship with elements? I love what Mohini Didi said as well, to transform it, to purify it now. What responsibility?
Well, the first step is really to be here and for just a few moments to connect with Baba and send Baba's light throughout the whole body so that the body cooperates, because I don't want to leave the body and have to take another one and still Sangam Yoga, and I'm missing out on all of that. So I want to take care of this body so that if I sit here and I connect with Baba and let Baba's rays go through the body, then it's going to make sure that the elements are being supported by Baba's light and love. And then when I think about the elements, I don't think about each one separately, but I keep Baba in front of me, and then beyond that, the world. So I'm connected with Baba, and Baba is giving light and might to the elements so that they are being cleansed and purified, and very soon can return to a state of harmony. So my connection is with Baba, and it's through Baba then that the world is there in front of Baba, and Baba is taking care of the responsibility of purifying the world. So my job is to remember Baba, but in that particular context. But also, I remember Dadi, when we'd give her medication, she'd spend a moment just giving drishti to the tablets and say, well, I'm energizing them so that they can do their work. And so, yes, food is a big, big thing. And so when Baba says, cook with purity and then offer food to Baba so that it's filled with God's light and love, and the process of purification of the elements is there, right there. Normal food and it's food, but Baba's food and it's Brahma Pujan. And even if it's a little bit, but Brahma Pujan has value, not just for the body, but also for the soul. So how is it that matter is now impacting me? It's because it's filled with God's light and love. And so the whole process of offering food, where, as people say it's a ritual, not at all. It's not just a ritual. It's a very specific method of purification of food, but also then of gratitude. Thanks to Baba who has given me all of this. But then that's then the food that I feed the body, and it's going to make the body strong.
Okay, so the last little bit, could I ask you both to take us into an experience now?
I want to add one thing is
Yeah,
cook
sure,
in
please.
Baba's remembrance. But last part is that if there is Brahma Bhojan, you have to eat in remembrance also of Baba.
Nice, yes, nice. Yeah.
Because that is, it is cooked, it is offered. But if I am not eating in Baba's remembrance, so it's very important to underline that Brahma Bhojan is when you eat in remembrance of Baba.
Nice, nice. Thank you. So I was wondering if both of you could take us into the experience of purifying ourselves through Baba's remembrance. And maybe you can speak out loud the kind of thoughts that you might have when you're remembering Baba, to experience that purification for yourself, but also then to have the sense of purification happening around you, of what there is and how it is, and how your remembrance is transforming everything around you. So we can all then experience that together.
I'm going to let one conduct now, because having two would be a bit confusing.
I will see, not necessarily. You could go off each other. We've done this in Madhuban before, no? Okay. All right. Mohini Didi, would you
Okay.
take us into the experience of this purification and speak out your thoughts to take us there?
I am a pure soul. Purity of thoughts, purity in my reasoning, purity in my power to discern. And that is being viceless. When there is freedom from the vices, then I am able to be peaceful. I am loveful. And all beautiful, very gentle qualities of kindness, compassion, mercy, they all emerge. As a pure soul, whatever I intake, whether air, water, or food, in remembrance of Baba, it also not only healthy for body, but also purify the elements of body. The stage of praiseworthy, of purity at confluence age, soul and body, when they both are pure, they become worship worthy. Purity is praised. But also purity is worshipped. I connect during Amrit Vela especially with the whole universe. I talk to whole universe, feel myself a little child of God, connecting with whole universe. Whether they are animals, birds, plants, everything, whole universe. And have pure vision for them, for whole universe, to be peaceful, to be loveful, have abundance of everything. When it's deep silence outside, especially early morning, then the creator of the universe, Baba, he is ever pure, he is purifier. I soul also is ever pure, but coming in the cycle of birth and death, the degrees of purity decline, descending happen. But now at confluence age, I am ascending, claiming back my ever pure life eternally. So I am eternally a pure soul, making efforts to make body also pure, elements pure. Not only to help all the souls, but to bestow my good wishes and blessings to everyone, to everything. I come back to myself, a being of light, a pure soul. Om Shanti.
पवित्र मन रखो, पवित्र तन रखो, पवित्र मन रखो, पवित्र तन रखो। पवित्रता मनुष्यता की शान है, जो मन वचन कर्म से पवित्र है, वो चरित्रवान ही यहाँ महान है। पवित्र मन रखो, पवित्र तन रखो, पवित्रता मनुष्यता की शान है, जो मन वचन कर्म से पवित्र है, वो
दिल से हो कोई मुश्किल पल में आसान हो जाए। ये पल है ऐसा जो एक पल में लाखों के भाग्य जगा जाए। शीतल शीतल किरणें किरणें मन में आनंद भरता है। पवित्रता का जीवन हमको प्यारा लगता है। उपहार मिला संसार खिला कितना सुंदर लगता है। पवित्रता का जीवन। कितना सुहाना भाग्य मिला मिला है हमको प्राणों का प्राण। सास संकल्प ये तन मन किया है दिल ने सब अर्पण। ऐसा सजो दिल में हुआ है तन मन को पावन करता है। पवित्रता का जीवन हमको प्यारा लगता है। उपहार मिला संसार खिला कितना सुंदर लगता है। पवित्रता का जीवन हमको प्यारा लगता है। उपहार मिला संसार खिला कितना सुंदर लगता है। पवित्रता का जीवन।
Wishes for Raksha Bandhan for the whole family and special blessings from Daddy Prakash Mani. Om Shanti.
Happy Raksha Bandhan on my behalf too. Everyone constantly be blessed with all good qualities. Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om
Thank you, Mohini Didi.
Shanti.
Thank you, Jayanti Didi. Om
Om
Shanti.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om
Raksha
Shanti.
Bandhan.
Thank you, Baba.
Om Shanti.
Thank you, Namo.
Happy
birthday.
Om Shanti. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om
Happy
Shanti.
Raksha Bandhan.
Thank you,
Om
Mohini.
Shanti.
Jackie.
Om Shanti Didi.
Thank you, Baba.
Lots of love to both of you.
Om Shanti a
Om
todos.
Shanti.
Om Shanti a todos.
Shanti family
Om
divina.
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Jayanti Didi.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.